Alright, welcome to the second part of the CR500 to CR500 AF conversion bike. I've got an apprentice today. Say hello to Scott.
Hey.
Hi Scott.
Hey.
Okay, we're going to be tearing down the CRF today, which I put all back together recently. You probably remember that it was laying up as parts. So this thing is just really dirty and really disgusting. And since we're going to be doing some welding to the frame to make room for the CR500 motor, we're going to have to clean off all this crap, because otherwise the welding guy is going to be really upset getting that stuff all over his tools and all over his workbench. So we're going to give him a nice clean part to work on. So we're going to start tearing this thing down. We're going to trusty old pressure washer here, and we're going to hose the bike down and get it looking good. Alright, Scott's removing the handlebars, and he's using a ratchet over there, and he taught me something today. What was that about a ratchet that you said earlier?
What did I say about the ratchet earlier?
You said something about tighty...
Oh yeah, lefty-loosey, tighty-righty.
Lefty-loosey, tighty-righty. So you always have to loosen to the left and you tighten to the right. There's a little flip handle on the back of the ratchet. A lot of people that's remedial. But for Scott, this is his first time working on a dirt bike. So he's learning how to use some of the tools and what some of these parts do and what holds them together. Now Scott, I see you're removing some bolts here from the handlebars.
Yes.
And once you got those bolts out and the handlebars come out, what do you do with the bolts?
Put them back in where they don't lose them.
Put them back in so you don't lose them. That's right. So what you doing, Scott?
I'm hosing the driveway right now because water reaches like a repellent for water.
Right.
So if we have any, leaks or stains or anything, it won't actually stain the driveway.
Right.
It'll just slide right off the driveway.
That's right. So the oil will slide right off the water, so it won't stain into the driveway.
Yep.
Alright, so it's going to keep us nice and clean. And my driveway isn't in the best shape, but it's a heck of a lot better shape because we always make sure that the driveway is nice and rinsed first before we start the work. And that's a good key right here, especially when you're degreasing something like an engine or a car, or if you're changing your oil in a driveway. Alright, Scott has begun the degreasing. We're getting off all of that dirt grime, as well as the CR500 oil sludge. I guess it might have been a leaker that he had here before I had possession of it, but getting that degreaser sprayed on real good. So any place that it's nice and thick, we're going to be hosing it down real good. And then after that, we're going to let it sit for about 10-15 minutes, and then we're going to hit it with the pressure washer. Good job, Scott. After some vigorous scrubbing, Scott is pressure washing that frame as well as the swing arm. And it's starting to look really nice, really clean. Clean enough for a dirt bike. I'm not one that likes to make a dirt bike too clean, because when they get too clean, you just get really sad when you make them dirty. So we're going to get this thing just looking good, just good enough, and then we're going to go with it. But he's doing a really good job. Look at that thing starting to shine up. Awesome. Alright, Scott, what you doing?
Putting on the subframe right now.
Putting on the rear subframe. The bike is sure looking mighty clean. You did a heck of a job on that.
Thanks.
And wait till you guys see what the wheels turned out like. It turns out they were gunmetal colored. I thought one of them was black and the other one was chrome, but no, they're actually gunmetal colored, and they look really nice. But we're going to pull those out in just a moment. Well, the CRF450 sure is cleaning up mighty good. Scott's been helping me all day here. He's been doing some really hard scrubbing, and he's got the thing looking great. We got the frame cleared up, way cleared up. He's dropping in the fuel tank right now, which we also scrubbed down. We got the air box thrown in there. We got the shock cleaned up. We got a couple of rust spots on there, and the plastic is a little bit stained in the back, but it's in really good shape otherwise. The swing arm, as you can see, is nice and shiny. We got the triple trees all nice and cleaned up. Very few spots of corrosion on here. It's looking really good. Got the fuel line hanging down there with the petcock on it, and he's putting in the fuel tank bolt. So there we go. It's looking like we got a nice solid project here that's in really good shape. Really good shape. Congratulations, Scott, on your first project. We got Scott cleaning the forks over here. He's doing a heck of a job. Well, you guys with your dirty minds, keep it to yourself. Those are polishing up pretty good, huh? Keep that pad as wet as you can get it. Nice and soapy, and get frothy foam all over it. Splash around inside that bucket to get the foam built up if you need to. That way it gets nice and foamy. As the wetter and foamy you can get it, the more dirt will lift off and it'll just run off. Seriously. Good job. Wow, that's starting to look pretty good. Putting on the front fender, huh? Yeah. Freshly painted. Flat black. That way if it gets scratched, you buy a $5 can of paint and you go and it's fixed. Cool? Yeah. Can't beat that, huh? Scott's excited to ride it. He says, I'm tired of just working on it crap. He says, I want to ride that bike. That red seat on the black panels actually looks really, really sharp. It looks really, really sharp. It looks even better now that everything's clean. Much, much better. So we got a few more panels to put on there, and then we're going to go ahead and mount the front wheel and put the handlebars back on, and then we're going to call it a day. We got the bike assembled. It's nice and clean. I think the gold forks, the gold wheel hubs on those Excel rims, along with the black body panels, really, really contrast and look really good. Scott, you did an excellent job today.
Thank you.
You're going to be rewarded by a ride on the mini chopper.
Yes.
Yeah, you're excited about that. I know you are. I hope it starts.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get that in another video. But here's the CR500 frame. We're going to be putting this in the garage in just a couple minutes. But the white number plate that's on the back here, Scott's telling me that we should paint it black. We're looking for suggestions and comments, so if you think that the plate should be painted black, go ahead and say so. Otherwise, I think it should stay white, just because that's the way the Hondas come. And I think painting it black is just going to look a little funny. It's going to be missing some contrast. But Scott says it's going to look cool and stealthy, like stealth bomber look. Right, Scott? But there it is, CR500 Part 2. This is going to be our CR500 AF conversion. Everything's nice and clean. We got the frame nice and clean. So we are going to be taking it apart only one more time to have the cradle cut. Probably going to cut it right about here. And then we're going to cut it at the Y over here. This whole thing is going to be raised up, welded back in, and then down here the portion that was cut out is going to be extended to make it fit. New tabs will be put on for the CR500 motor, as well as a new tab put here that's not even there. So we'll get this thing fit with the old CR500 technology. Sweet. From the 1980s. But everything is just looking really, really good on here. I'm quite pleased. Very, very pleased. A lot of these parts are starting to look like they're almost new. I'm just really, really pleased with the work that Scott did with me today, and I have to thank him repeatedly. We got a little bit of dirt still down there on the hub, but we'll hit that with a little scrub brush. I'm not worried about the dirt on the tires, of course, because this is all going to go off the first time we run through some sand, so then it'll all disappear. Otherwise, this thing is looking great. Really, really good. I'm very, very happy. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
To be continued in Part 3, so everybody stay tuned.